Hello everyone, this is TheAustinB and I'm finally back, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my top 3 favorite auto rifles. And these auto rifles are max rate of fire auto rifles, which are my favorite subcategory or archetype of auto rifles. And this consists of Doctrine of Passing, Silimar's Wrath, and Unwilling Soul 09. And two of these weapons, Silimar's Wrath and Unwilling Soul, are year 1. And that is unfortunate, but I still love to use them in the Crucible because they are a lot of fun to use. And I'm going to show you some stat comparisons to the Doctrine of Passing, which is the most popular max rate of fire auto rifle currently. And I'm going to show you some gameplay of all 3 of these weapons. So as you can see here in the stats, these stats basically show hidden stats, and these are all just the base stats, core stats of the weapon without any perks or sights or anything like that. And it shows you what they can go up to and what their minimal value is. And I got these stats from Planet Destiny, and I just decided to paste them together all in one so that way you guys can compare them and see what you guys think is actually the best. And most of you will probably say Doctrine of Passing, and that is obviously your own personal opinion. But here on the Ishtar Commander app, I have the stats shown of what perks I'm using here, and Silimar's Wrath and Unwilling Soul each have their own different perks as well, but I went for the best possible stability boost that you can get without losing any range. Like, such as for Unwilling Soul, I had to go small bore because there's no braced frame, and Doctrine of Passing only has 4 options, and one of them is counterbalance, so you're going to want counterbalance for the stability. So anyways, now that we're out of that mess, let's look at this Silimar's Wrath here. And this is the one from the Dark Below, as you could have seen in the picture I showed in the beginning. Now, the Silimar's Wrath has the most aim assist, and I don't know if that's why it feels so good to use or what about the weapon makes it so fun to use, but it is a very, very powerful weapon in my opinion, and it was my favorite back in year 1, and I used to use it all of the time I played in year 1, back before max rate of fire weapons were any good at all. And you could get 3 different versions of this weapon. And the first year, or basically the release version of the Silimar's Wrath, before any DLCs or anything like that was introduced, there was really bad rolls for it. And then in the Dark Below, there was really, really good rolls that you could get for it. So that's what I have on my current Silimar's Wrath is Counterbalance, Perfect Balance, and Third Eye. Of course, you could go for Rangefinder, you could go for Crowd Control. Third Eye is just an option. And that's just one of the things that I like about this weapon is it has a lot of options, and it's also reforgeable. I also have the red dot sight for precise fire. That's what its description reads, and I like it the best on my max rate of fire weapons. So moving on, when it comes down to the Unwilling Soul, I think that that's probably one of my most unique weapons. It was released in the House of Wolves, and Silimar's Wrath was also released in House of Wolves, but Silimar's Wrath in House of Wolves was completely changed into a completely different archetype, and that's just kind of a shame because people who had just gotten started into the House of Wolves probably picked up Silimar's Wrath, and it's just like Hakon's Hatchet, except probably worse. And I'm glad I still have my Silimar's Wrath from year 1 and the Dark Below. But Unwilling Soul is just a range beast, and that's all I can say about it. It can shoot from so far away. You can get really far away precision shots for like 14, 15, 16, and 16 being the highest precision damage you can do to the head, 13 being the highest to the body. And that's without any tethers or modifiers that make it where you deal more damage, such as like weapons of light, etc. So definitely gotta say that Unwilling Soul, if you master this weapon, you can easily shred through anybody just like you can with Doctrine of Passing, but better. It has more bullets, it has the most range, and that's all I can say really about this weapon. It is a very good looking weapon. It's repped by Dead Orbit. It's got that digital camo style, kind of like in Call of Duty, and it really is a lot of fun to use. It's kind of hard to control for beginners, so I don't recommend you use it if you have it and you're a beginner. But on to Doctrine of Passing. This gun is definitely the beginner's weapon, even though it is a Trials of Osiris received weapon, and most casual players or players who are inexperienced at the game will be unlikely to obtain it. It's definitely the easiest to use, and the Adept version comes with Last Resort, which is a extra perk that makes it where you can equip things faster, reload faster, aim faster, etc. And it also is a black color instead of a yellow color. So that's the only difference between the Adept and the regular version. So there are 2 versions of the Doctrine of Passing, 3 versions of Silimar's Wrath, and 1 version of Unwilling Soul. And Doctrine of Passing just levels off in its stability almost immediately after firing. It has a little bit of upkit at first, and then after that, it's basically done. So that concludes my little talk about for these 3 weapons. In order, I would say Silimar's Wrath number 1, Doctrine number 2, and Unwilling Soul number 3 as my favorite weapons. Lethe Noblesse I will do a video on soon, and I hope I can get myself a counterbalance Armin SD. Have a good one, Guardians.